name was Elaine, that she was so fair that her father would call her Elaine the Fair, and she was lovable that her brothers would call her Elaine the Lovable, and that was the niece she liked the most. Yet, the country people who lived around the castle of Astolat Cales are another beautiful name for her.
He is so tall, graceful and pure as lilies. We should call her Lily made of Astolat.
Though she's growing up as a bright and winsome child, Sator, her grave brother, would often tell her that wise women should stay at home to cook and sew. Yet the minute her brother turns his back, Elaine willfully run off to the woods with her brother Lavaine, and they would talk about Sir Lancelot.
Sir, the tournament will be held at Camelot this year. Oh, if some of the knights may pass Astolat, we will see them.
Now King Arthur offered a large prize of diamond to whoever win the tournament, and the knights murmured to one another,
I think Sir Lancelot will be there at the tournament.
Isn't that means we all know who wins?
and the queen heard their conversation, and she summoned Lancelot and says,
I've heard that the knights are afraid of you joining the tournament.
Might as well not to join.
I have a good idea. Why don't you join the tournament with a disguise?
Might be.
The Lancelot disguised himself and set off to Camelot, but when he was near Astolat, he lost his way and wandered around the ground castle where Elaine is standing, Lavaine. And the old baron welcomed Lancelot to the castle. As the old baron welcomes Lancelot, Lavaine whispers to Elaine,
This is better than to see many knights passing on their way to
and
Camelot.
Sir Lancelot stayed the night, telling stories to Lavaine and Elaine about his scars of battle, which they've come to love him. And Lavaine wished to be his squire, while Sir Tor looked at him with envy and wished the knight had not come to Astolat. In the evening, Sir Lancelot told the old baron how he would go to the tournament in disguise, and asked for another shield to use, for he had accidentally brought his own shield. And the old baron lent him Sator's shield, for he was gravely wounded in his first battle. And Elaine gladly took care the Sir Tangenot's shield, unknowingly it was Sir Lancelot's, and carefully put the shield at the corner of her room with the plan to sew a cover for it. As she went downstairs, she saw the knight with Lavaine leaving. Elaine shyly told her request to the knight to wear her favour, for in those times knights often wear the colours of the lady who loved him. After some consideration, Lancelot took heed of Elaine's wish, and thought it would help his disguise. As the knight and Lavaine left, Elaine took the shield and handled the dints and bruise lovingly, and pictured the battles it had been through with her knight, and sewed a cover for the shield which Sir Tor had strongly disliked. Sir Lancelot rode off to Camelot with Lavaine, but on their way they stayed the night at a hermitage. Arriving at Camelot, Lavaine saw the king, but didn't focus on the king's grandeur, but on his face's nobility and beauty. Then the brave knight's fight began, and many wonders why Lancelot did not come, but wondered more on the strange knight with bare shield and wearing a red cloth, and overthrew every opponent he fights. The king thought this is Sir Lancelot, but seeing the red embroidered cloth that the strange knight wears, he cast away the thought of it. After defeating his opponents, the king proclaimed the strange knight as the winner, but no one comes up to claim the reward, and the strange knight is nowhere to be seen. For Sir Lancelot is wounded in his last battle, and had ridden into the woods calling Lavaine to follow him. After a while, Lancelot fell on his horse, and groaning asked Lavaine to remove the spears. Head stabbed on his right side. Lavaine at first hesitated, but seeing Lancelot's condition worsen, he took the courage to take it out, and slowly and painfully reached the hermitage, and the hermit took care of Lancelot. On the other hand, the king gave the diamond to Sir Gawain, and told him to find the strange knight and give him his prize. Though hesitantly, Sir Gawain followed the order of the king, for all knights had bowed obedience. He left the merriment that had followed after the tournament. But because he only cared about his disappointment, he had rowed past the hermitage where the wounded knight lay, and lost his way all the way. After losing his way, he arrived at Astolat, and the old baron, Elaine, and Sir Tor invited him, and asked him who had won the tournament. And Sir Gawain told them on how the strange knight won and flee with a wand, without claiming the prize. And Sir Gawain was captivated by the beauty of Elaine. He stayed and wandered around the castle, delaying what the king had ordered. He told Elaine country lords and ladies and tried to win her. Yet he failed, for Elaine only longs to the strange knight who captured her heart. Growing impatiently to the arrival of the strange knight, Elaine showed the shield to Sir Gawain, which surprises him, for he recognized that its owner is none other than Sir Lancelot. He immediately took off and gave the diamond to Elaine. After reaching the court, he told them what he had found out, and how fair Elaine was in love with Sir Lancelot. But the king was displeased, for Sir Gawain returned without the strange knight.
You have not served me as a true knight.
He gravely said, and Sir Gawain was silent, for he had remembered how he lingered at Astolat. After Elaine received the diamond from Sir Gawain, Elaine immediately asked her father's grace to find the wounded knight and Lavaine.
Father, let me go find the wounded knight and Lavaine. I will nurse the knight as maidens nurse those who have worn their favours.
And the old baron let her go with Sir Tor as her guard. As they getting near the hermitage, Elaine saw Lavaine and told him to take her to the wounded knight. And there day and night Elaine nursed the knight as maidens do, until one morning the good news comes. Sir Lancelot had healed and grew stronger, and thus, with the fair Elaine returned to Astolat, and Elaine told Sir Lancelot how the king had sent his reward, which he had won so hardly. And Lancelot longs to be at the king's court again. And as he rested there, Sir Lancelot thought that before he leave he should reward the fair lady who nursed him. But when asked, Elaine would only answer that she loved him and wished to return to the court with him. But Sir Lancelot answered that he cannot take her with him, and promised that he would give her £1,000 every year when she's wedded. But Elaine wanted nothing but Ruby with Sir Lancelot.
My lily maid will break her heart, unless the knight treat her less gently.
But Sir Lancelot could not be unkind to the young maiden who had nursed him. Early in the morning he rode off with his shield. Although he knows that Elaine is watching him as he go, he didn't look back nor wave farewell. And Elaine knew she would never see Sir Lancelot again. And day by day she grew more sad and still.
She
Her
will
father
die.
says sadly as he watched her. And grave Sir Tor cried, for he loved his sister dearly. Then one day Elaine summoned her father to her room.
Promise me that when I die, fasten the letter on my hand I shall write. Cloth me on my fairest dress, and let me be taken to the palace.
And when Elaine died, there was great sadness in Astolat. And as her father promised, she was clothed in her fairest, bound the letter on her hand, and laid on the barge away on the river. And when it reached the palace steps, the king took the letter to the fair maid's hands and read it aloud.
I am the lily maid of Astolat, and because Ere Lancelot left me, I make unto all ladies my moan. Pray for my soul.
And when the crowds heard it, they wept with pity, and Sir Lancelot buried Elaine sadly. And when those who lived him were jealous and unkind, he thought tenderly the pure and simple love of the lily maid of Astolat.